Have you ever wondered whether the percentage of income you invest each month is truly enough to secure your future responsibly? Many people think they have a reasonable number in mind, but most guesses fall dramatically short when compared with real financial data. Today, I want to guide you through updated research from 2024 and 2025 to help you understand the percentage that actually works. My goal is to give you clarity so you can stop guessing and begin planning confidently based on numbers rather than vague assumptions. Because the truth is simple, there is a real percentage that determines whether you eventually achieve financial freedom or remain financially stuck. And once you know this percentage, your decisions about investing become far easier and far more consistent over the long term. So, stay with me as we walk through brand new data that reveals how Americans are saving compared to previous generations today. To begin, let's look at the most recent numbers from the 2024 Vanguard How America Saves report analyzing millions of retirement accounts. The study found that individuals between ages 55 and 64 held an average retirement balance of just above $70,000. That number may sound slightly higher than older reports, but it remains shockingly insufficient for anyone hoping to retire comfortably someday. Even more concerning, the median balance for this same age group was under $30,000, highlighting severe savings inconsistencies nationwide. These numbers reflect a genuine retirement crisis, because most households are far behind the amount required for basic financial security later. Vanguard also reported that contribution rates remain uneven, heavily influenced by employer matching policies and automatic enrollment systems. Individuals contributing automatically tend to invest nearly 1.5% more than those manually opting into retirement plans. This consistency advantage matters tremendously because automated contributions remove emotional decision-making from your long-term strategy. Automation ensures your investments occur regardless of mood, motivation, stress, or unexpected monthly expenses that often disrupt financial habits. Without automation, most individuals invest far less than they believe because manual contributions require constant discipline every single month. Now, let's compare this with 2024 Fidelity data showing average and median balances across age groups nationwide for greater context. Fidelity reports that the average 401k balance across all participants is now around $116,000. But this number is misleading because only older earners above age 50 typically hold balances anywhere close to that level. Younger households in their 20s and 30s frequently possess very small retirement accounts, and many have not started investing yet. This creates a widening savings gap that becomes extremely difficult to close without a clear strategy early in adulthood. So let's examine another crucial data point from the Federal Reserve's personal savings rate updated throughout 2024 and early 2025. According to the Federal Reserve, the average personal savings rate among Americans currently hovers around 3.6% annually. This rate is near 15-year lows and significantly below what experts recommend for building long-term financial resilience nationwide. At a 3.6% savings rate, a household earning $70,000 annually saves only about $2,500 each year. That amount is barely enough for basic emergency needs and far too small to support meaningful long-term investing goals. These low savings rates are driven by rising costs including housing, transportation, childcare, healthcare, and everyday living expenses. For example, the average monthly car payment for new vehicles reached $739 in 2024. When large payments like that dominate a budget, individuals understandably feel they have nothing left for investing afterward. But the uncomfortable truth is that without prioritizing investing early, expenses eventually consume every dollar, and long-term goals suffer greatly. It is not enough to invest whatever remains at the end of the month because often nothing remains at all. Instead, investing must be treated as a non-negotiable bill that occurs before discretionary spending even enters your awareness. This shift mirrors the automatic enrollment benefits highlighted in recent Vanguard and Fidelity reports across diverse income levels. Households automatically enrolled typically contribute more consistently and accumulate significantly larger balances after several years of disciplined investing. But here is where things become even more revealing when comparing the United States to other developed nations worldwide. OECD data from 2023 and 2024 shows that many countries maintain household savings rates between 15 and 20%. Countries like Ireland, Switzerland, and Japan consistently outperform the United States in long-term savings behavior. This comparison demonstrates that Americans do not struggle with income potential, but rather with savings discipline and financial prioritization. Despite having one of the strongest economies globally, the United States also maintains one of the lowest household savings rates. This gap emphasizes how financial behavior, not income alone, determines whether households build meaningful wealth over time. Now let's break down savings rates by income level using updated research from the University of Chicago and recent Federal Reserve findings. The top 1% of American earners save nearly 40% of their income on average each year. The top 10% save between 17 and 20% annually, reflecting significantly stronger financial habits overall. Meanwhile, the bottom 50% save almost nothing, and many households operate with negative savings rates due to rising debt obligations. These numbers reveal a clear pattern. When income rises but spending rises equally fast, wealth never compounds effectively. But when spending grows slowly while income increases steadily, the gap becomes fuel for powerful long-term investing capability. This is precisely why higher earners with controlled lifestyles accumulate wealth dramatically faster than those constantly expanding their lifestyle. So the question becomes clearer: what percentage of income should the average American actually invest to achieve financial independence? To answer that, we must evaluate both general rules of thumb and personalized calculations rooted in realistic retirement planning expectations. One widely used guideline comes from Fidelity, recommending that individuals invest 15% of their income consistently throughout their working years. This 15% includes both personal contributions and any employer match provided through retirement plans, like a traditional or Roth 401k account. Fidelity developed this guideline after analyzing thousands of scenarios modeling retirement outcomes across different ages, incomes, and economic environments spanning multiple decades. Their conclusion was clear: households maintaining a 15% investing rate dramatically increase their chances of long-term financial stability. That percentage balances realism and ambition, offering a practical target that still produces meaningful compounding growth over many years. But it is important to remember that 15% is a long-term average rather than a strict monthly requirement. Some months you may invest less due to unexpected expenses, while other months you might invest significantly more. What truly matters is maintaining a consistent annual average that keeps your long-term trajectory moving in the right direction. Still, guidelines alone are not enough because every household has a unique financial situation, requiring personalized analysis for accurate planning. To understand this better, let's look at how income levels influence the percentage you realistically should invest each year. If you earn significantly more than your essential expenses require, you have greater flexibility to invest larger percentages confidently. But if your essential costs consume most of your income, you must begin with smaller percentages and gradually build upward. Regardless of income level, the percentage you invest directly determines how quickly your wealth compounds over your lifetime. To illustrate this clearly, let's examine updated case studies demonstrating how various investing rates shorten or lengthen your retirement timeline. Imagine an individual earning $80,000 per year with $100,000 already saved for retirement today. Their long-term goal is to replace 70% of their pre-retirement income, which equals $56,000 annually. Using updated inflation assumptions and the well-known 4% withdrawal guideline, this person would need around $1.6 million saved. If they invest 10% of their income, reaching that goal could take approximately 26 additional years of consistent contributions. But increasing their investing rate to 15% can shorten that timeline by nearly 4 years, a meaningful improvement. And if they invest 20%, the timeline decreases to roughly 21 years, saving about 5 total years overall. This demonstrates a powerful principle: small changes in your investing percentage create massive differences in your long-term freedom. Now let's consider a second scenario involving someone earning $45,000 per year with minimal retirement savings currently. Even if this person invests just $75 to $100 monthly, compounding still creates real financial progress over time. Beginning with small contributions is far better than waiting for a perfect moment that never arrives in practical life. Over 20 years, even modest contributions can grow into six-figure balances when combined with consistent habits and reasonable market returns. The key is starting early and increasing contributions gradually without overwhelming your financial life all at once. Now, consider a third scenario involving someone earning $150,000 annually with relatively stable living expenses. This individual has far more flexibility and benefits greatly by raising contributions from 10% to 18% as income grows. That increase alone could shorten their retirement timeline by 7 or more years depending on market conditions. These case studies highlight one undeniable message. Increasing your investing percentage saves far more time than most people realize. Money itself is not the most limited resource. Your remaining years of life are significantly more valuable than any dollar amount. This is why adjusting your investing percentage is not only a financial decision, but also a lifestyle decision about future freedom. Now let's explore the behavioral side of investing, which often determines success more than income or market conditions. Behavioral research consistently shows that most people fail financially, not because they lack knowledge, but because habits override intentions. Present bias causes individuals to prioritize immediate comfort over long-term benefits, leading to chronic underinvesting. Loss aversion causes people to fear short-term market declines even when long-term growth remains historically reliable. Anchoring causes individuals to fixate on past financial mistakes instead of focusing on their potential future progress. Automation solves many of these behavioral challenges by investing money before emotions have a chance to interfere. When your contributions occur automatically, investing becomes a simple default rather than a difficult monthly decision requiring discipline. This psychological shift is why automatic enrollment consistently leads to higher savings rates across nearly all income categories. People do not need more discipline. They need systems that remove decision fatigue and prevent emotionally driven choices. This brings us back to the key question: what percentage should you personally invest based on all the updated data? For individuals in their 20s and early 30s, aiming for 15 to 25% provides an excellent long-term foundation. Younger investors benefit the most from compounding, so higher percentages create an enormous advantage over several decades. For individuals in their 30s and 40s, investing 12 to 20% is realistic while still enabling substantial progress. This range accommodates growing responsibilities such as housing, childcare, and rising career demands without sacrificing long-term goals. For individuals in their 40s and 50s starting later, 20 to 30% may be necessary to reach retirement goals. At this stage, higher percentages compensate for fewer remaining compounding years while still allowing long-term growth opportunities. And for individuals beginning extremely late, saving 35% or more may be required to build meaningful retirement security. Though challenging, these higher percentages often become feasible once debts decrease and income stability increases during later career years. The truth is that your ideal percentage depends less on income and more on how quickly you want to reclaim your future freedom. A person investing 10% of their income may require 30 years to retire, depending on overall market performance across multiple cycles. Meanwhile, someone investing 20% may require only roughly 20 years, demonstrating how contribution rate directly influences future flexibility. And someone consistently investing 30% could potentially reach retirement readiness in as little as 15 years overall. These comparisons reveal an important insight. The time you save by increasing your investing rate is far more valuable than the dollars contributed. Time is the real currency in personal finance because it dictates how many years compounding can work in your favor. When compounding operates over long periods, even modest contributions can eventually grow into substantial financial independence. But when compounding operates over short periods, even high contributions may struggle to generate the required long-term growth. This is why your investing percentage becomes the single most powerful lever you control in your financial journey. To put this into perspective, imagine two people investing identical dollar amounts but with different timelines due to earlier start dates. The person who started earlier will typically accumulate significantly more wealth because compounding multiplies earlier contributions more effectively. This is not theoretical. It is evident in nearly every historical market period across the past century. Now let's address a common concern. Many individuals believe they cannot invest more because their income feels too limited today. This concern is understandable, but the solution is not solely reducing spending. Increasing income expands your investing ability dramatically. Higher income creates margin, and margin creates opportunity for stronger and more consistent long-term investing habits. Yay! You may already possess valuable skills others would pay for, even if you have never recognized their financial potential before. Skills in fitness, design, writing, technology, gaming, cooking, or communication can all produce meaningful extra income streams. That additional income can be redirected entirely into investments without affecting your existing lifestyle comfort at all. This approach accelerates your financial progress by allowing you to increase your investing rate without painful sacrifices. Many people believe investing requires extreme lifestyle cuts, but earning slightly more often solves the problem more effectively. The easiest money to invest is the money you never relied on in the first place, and therefore never miss. When you separate earning from spending increases, you create powerful opportunities for consistent and disciplined wealth building. This separation allows you to maintain a comfortable lifestyle while still pursuing ambitious long-term financial goals confidently. Eventually, your investments begin compounding enough that your contributions feel easier and progress becomes noticeably faster over time. This shift transforms investing from a monthly challenge into a natural part of your financial routine and personal identity. At that point, increasing your investing percentage becomes far less intimidating than it initially seemed when you started. You begin recognizing that investing is not merely about money. It is about the kind of life you want to build. So let's summarize the updated research to determine the realistic percentage most Americans should invest starting today. For younger adults in their 20s or early 30s, 15 to 25% remains the strongest long-term recommendation available. These decades offer the greatest compounding potential, making early high contribution rates extraordinarily valuable over time. For adults in their 30s or 40s, 12 to 20% balances rising family responsibilities with essential long-term planning. This range helps maintain forward momentum even when budgets feel stretched by children, housing costs, or career transitions. For adults beginning in their 40s or 50s, 20 to 30% provides a realistic path toward retirement readiness. These higher percentages compensate for fewer compounding years remaining while still enabling significant long-term growth potential. For those starting extremely late, saving 35% or more may be necessary to build meaningful financial security. Although challenging, these contributions become increasingly manageable once major debts decline and career income stabilizes significantly. These ranges are not strict rules. They are realistic frameworks based on updated economic conditions and recent research. Ultimately, the right percentage is the one that moves you closer to freedom without creating unnecessary financial stress. Your goal is not perfection, but consistency, because consistency multiplies wealth while inconsistency destroys long-term financial progress. This is why starting small is perfectly acceptable as long as you gradually increase your contributions year after year. A simple strategy is raising your investing percentage by 1% every year until you reach your long-term target. This incremental method feels manageable while still producing substantial improvements in your financial future over several decades. Another strategy is automatically increasing contributions whenever you receive a raise, bonus, or promotion at work. This prevents lifestyle inflation from canceling out your financial progress and preserves your long-term investing capacity. Every raise becomes an opportunity to strengthen your future rather than expand unnecessary spending habits that offer limited long-term value. These strategies work because they blend financial structure with psychological ease, creating habits that feel natural rather than forceful. Remember that investing is ultimately about behavior more than mathematics because behavior determines consistency over a lifetime. The market rewards patience and discipline far more than attempts to time short-term price movements or chase risky trends. Most people fail financially not from lack of knowledge, but from abandoning their strategy before compounding can truly work. Your job is simply staying invested long enough for your chosen percentage to transform into meaningful freedom through consistent compounding. So let's clarify the central idea again. The exact percentage matters far less than your willingness to stay consistent long-term. Even small percentages create meaningful results when combined with decades of disciplined contributions and emotionally stable financial habits. But increasing your percentage accelerates your timeline dramatically, giving you more freedom while still maintaining long-term stability. This is why raising your investing rate is essentially buying time, which is the most valuable asset anyone can ever own. Every additional percent invested today removes months or even years from your future career obligations and financial dependency. If you invest 10%, you move forward. If you invest 15%, you move faster. If you invest 20%, you transform everything. Even moving from 10 to 12% produces meaningful long-term improvements many people underestimate when planning their future. This is not about becoming wealthy overnight. It is about designing a future where choices belong entirely to you. When your investments grow large enough, work becomes optional rather than mandatory for survival or monthly financial obligations. That is the real definition of financial independence, the ability to choose how you spend your time without financial pressure driving decisions. And that destination is not reserved for the wealthy. It is available for anyone who invests consistently over many years. You do not need extraordinary skills or perfect timing. You simply need a clear percentage and the discipline to follow it. As Morgan Housel famously said, average returns sustained for an above-average period outperform nearly every other investment strategy. The market rewards endurance, not brilliance, because endurance allows compounding to operate without interruption or unnecessary emotional interference. When you stay invested long enough, even moderate contributions eventually grow into meaningful wealth capable of supporting your entire lifestyle. But the opposite is also true. Inconsistent investing destroys progress by resetting compounding and preventing exponential growth from building. This is why your investing percentage must be paired with long-term behavioral consistency, not short bursts of financial enthusiasm. The habit itself becomes far more powerful than any single percentage you choose at the beginning of your journey. Once investing becomes automatic, you stop questioning whether you can afford it because it becomes part of your identity. You begin thinking like an investor, focusing on long-term opportunity rather than short-term discomfort or temporary financial pressures. This identity shift multiplies your financial progress because it aligns your daily decisions with your long-term ambitions. Eventually, you begin raising your investing percentage naturally because you understand the future value each additional percent creates. You stop treating investing as an obligation and start viewing it as a gift to your future self, decades from now. And that perspective changes everything, transforming your financial journey from stressful guesswork into a confident, long-term strategy. So what percentage should you invest based on all the updated 2024 and 2025 financial data? The realistic answer is this: invest the highest percentage you can maintain comfortably and increase it steadily over time. For many people, the sweet spot is 15%, balancing present comfort with strong long-term financial security. For others with higher income or lower expenses, 20 to 30% offers accelerated progress and earlier financial independence. And for those beginning late or rebuilding after financial setbacks, increasing contributions aggressively may be necessary for meaningful progress. There is no universal percentage, but there is a universal truth. Consistency matters far more than perfection every single time. You do not need to match anyone else's percentage. You only need to commit to steady improvement year after year. Start small if necessary, but never stop raising your percentage as your income grows and your financial confidence strengthens. A 1% increase every year is simple enough to maintain, yet powerful enough to reshape your long-term future. Before long, you will look back and realize your progress came not from dramatic changes, but from steady long-term growth. And you will realize that the habit itself, not the number, was what transformed your financial life permanently. The percentage is mathematics, but the habit is identity. And identity is what builds real financial independence. So, if you take only one lesson from this entire breakdown, let it be this: start now and stay consistent forever. Your future self will thank you for every percent you invested today, instead of postponing until circumstances felt perfect. Because perfect circumstances never arrive, but consistent progress always produces meaningful financial results when given enough time. Do not let hesitation cost you years of potential freedom that could have been earned through steady, disciplined investing. The earlier you begin raising your investing percentage, the sooner compounding begins lifting your financial future upward. And once compounding works in your favor long enough, financial independence becomes not only possible but increasingly inevitable. You deserve a future with flexibility, choice, dignity, and stability, regardless of the circumstances you face today. That future begins the moment you decide your financial life deserves consistency and structure rather than uncertainty and stress. The next step belongs entirely to you because you alone control the percentage that shapes your entire financial destiny. So choose a percentage that feels achievable, automate it completely, and recommit to raising it gradually every passing year. Let investing become a natural extension of who you are rather than something you do only when convenient. When you embrace that mindset, financial progress stops feeling difficult and starts feeling like a normal part of life. And when progress becomes normal, financial independence becomes simply a matter of time rather than a distant dream. So take the first step today, even if it is small, because small steps create extraordinary outcomes over long horizons. Before long, your investments will begin shaping a future where every choice belongs entirely to you rather than your paycheck. That is the real power of choosing the right percentage and committing to it fully across many consistent years. The question now is simple. How much time do you want to buy back by raising your investing percentage today? Because every percent you invest is a percent of your life returned to you later with far greater value. So think about your goals carefully and decide whether your current investing rate truly aligns with your desired future. If it does not, this is your opportunity to adjust your strategy and correct your long-term financial path. You are not behind. You are simply at the starting point of a stronger and more intentional financial direction. Leave a comment sharing the percentage you plan to invest next, and let's build long-term discipline together. Subscribe if you want more clear financial explanations designed specifically to help you build a secure, independent future. Thank you for watching, and remember that your freedom begins with one simple decision to invest consistently starting today.